boxing here. So I went and revisited Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares. And one of the beautiful things about what Devin Haney did in that fight was he worked off of angles. Yeah, Linares caught him a couple times in the 11th round and a couple times in the 12th. Did he buzz him or hurt him exceptionally much? No, not really. But Haney was performing, but he wasn't that sharp, right? Um, Nonetheless, I want to talk to you guys about defense and why Devin Haney was able to do what he did. Now, a lot of you guys out there were saying how he was holding and clinching and holding and listen, he didn't do a lot of holding and clinching, so that's bullshit. All right. What he was trying to do was work on sliding to the inside and bobbing and weaving to the inside and dipping to the inside, dipping and rolling in. Okay. Rolling in, roll out. And sometimes he couldn't hit Linares like he wanted to, so he'd end up clinching him and turning him. Okay. But the thing about it is what Devin Haney did in that fight, which a lot of you guys probably know or don't know, is he kept the fight at certain ranges. He either was on the outside or he was in the pocket, deep in the pocket on the inside. He was not at mid-range. Linares caught him because he was at mid-range. It was just at the end of the round. Linares is actually at a T angle. He was at a T angle to Devin Haney. That's why he threw a 4-punch combination. He threw a 4-punch combination, and you can't shell up against a 4-punch combination that fast. Haney tried to ride the punches, and I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't get hurt as badly. But he also was frozen up at the T angle. What I mean by that is, so let me show you. So the shell obviously works when you have the shell here. This shell works when your opponent is directly in front of you. So if my opponent is directly in front of me, or even off to an angle like about here, but my lead foot is here, and I slip back this way, right? It's okay. Where it becomes a problem is if your opponent is at a T angle, that is, he's at a right angle to my shoulder. So if my opponent is over here, right, and I am here, right? So if my opponent either is here or I'm squared up like this and I'm open and he's here. These are the two places where my opponent has an advantage. Why? I can't hit my opponent. If I shoot my shot here, I'll shoot my counter here, right? Guess what? My opponent is off to the side of my lead hand. So once my opponent is on the outside of my lead hand, which he's not going to be able to know, he has to look at my shoulder to know, right? If he's on the outside of my lead hand, which is over there, he can do whatever he wants to me. He doesn't have to worry about getting hit back. Also, if he's deep on the inside of my power hand, that is to the outside of my power hand, he's to the outside of this, okay? He can also get me. All right, because in boxing, it's all about angles. All right, so what happened with Devin Haney was he was at a T angle to Jorge Linares. Jorge Linares was on the outside of his shoulder, lead shoulder. So Jorge Linares, let's be Jorge Linares for a minute. Devin Haney, I'm on the outside of Devin Haney's shoulder here, okay? He threw 1, 2, 3. He threw a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch combination very quickly. Okay. He did. He was doing a 2-3. So he started up 2-3, 2-3. All right. He did it very quickly because he found the angle. He saw the opening and he went for it. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right. 4 punch combination. Just like that. And Devin Haney got clipped with the second right hand. And the left hook was partially blocked by him because he's trying to roll it. He was trying to roll it, but he didn't realize that he was up on the wrong angle. Jorge Linares had found the outside of his lead hand. So that's what happened. And Devin Haney got caught. And he got caught because he was staying at mid-range. The distance away from Jorge Linares was just perfect range for Jorge Linares. And Jorge Linares realized, oh, I'm in perfect range. And he went for it. Okay? So that's what happened. Now, and when you get hit with a 2-3, that generally knocks down people. That's why when Jorge Linares caught him with the 2-3, very smart fighter, by the way, Jorge Linares. He did like this. Because he knew he caught him. And Haney went, and then he recouped rather quickly. And in the 11th round, he was spending the 11th round recouping, staying off the range, keeping the stick where he could, bobbing and weaving, getting to the inside. You know, he bob and weave, or, you know, he throw a jab and fall in, right? So that was basically what Devin Haney was doing. And sometimes he'd clinch up, lock up. And what he didn't just clinch up and lock up. What do you guys realize? He put his weight down on Jorge Linares and was marching him towards the ropes. He was imposing his size and strength on Jorge Linares, saying, I'm still here, brother. I'm still here. See, y'all need to understand the language of fighting. Okay? Think Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson. Where Mike Tyson, you know, landed a shot on Evander Holyfield's head snapped back. Holyfield would just, when his head slapped back, he'd go down like this and then he marches Mike Tyson to the ropes, right? Tie him up, grip him up really nice and tight, and walk him to the ropes, saying, you ain't doing me shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man in charge here, okay? So it's these things in boxing I try to get you guys to understand, right? Absolutely perfect performance by Devin Haney. Yeah, Jorge Linares shook him up a little bit, got buzzed a little bit. His coordination was a little bit off. Some of the energy was drained from him, so he wasn't as sharp. He's only 22 years old, okay? He's strong. His body's physically strong, because that shot, I think anybody else who got that shot, they would have dropped to a knee at least. They'd have dropped to the knee at least. But it didn't happen, right? So, I'm no boxer. I'm no coach. I'm not no great nothing, okay? I'm just talking to you guys, trying to explain to you guys what I saw, okay? And basically, what I'm saying to you guys is that in boxing, you know, you have to understand the circumstances involved in boxing. Now, some people say, well, he should have gone into a blaze of glory. That's what them old school guys would do. They get hurt, they start throwing. You know, when things don't work, they just start throwing, okay? But that's not boxing. Boxing is a thinking man's sport, okay? And even the OGs who taught guys who today are doing very well, Roger Mayweather and all those guys, they used to do stupid stuff. And Roger would even tell you that, man, I should really have fought smart. But, you know, the fans and everybody demand that I fight. So I fought. But you should have fought smart. And it doesn't call for a whole bunch of clinching. If you think about it, in the 11th and 12th round, if Devin Haney clinched 8 times, that's plenty. He didn't even clinch that much. Right? But every clinch was a strategic clinch. Like I said, in boxing, the cream of the crop are calculated fighters in every single sort of way. In your training, your preparation, in your mental preparation, in the competition that you're facing, how to get in your competition's head if you need to, how you speak with authority and confidence, the people around you, you're very calculated in your decisions. That's boxing. Okay? And so what I appreciate about Devin Haney is after that, even though he was still getting caught with some left hooks by Jorge Linares, he was still riding the punch. So he wasn't getting the full extent. The reason why he got clipped and he buckled was because he got caught with a 1-2. So while he was trying to ride, while he got caught with the right hand, pretty button, perfect shot on the chin, boop, right? He then got caught with a left, but he didn't get caught flush with the left. Otherwise, he probably would have dropped to the knee. Because a 2-3, a 2-3 puts you down. Right hand, left hook. That's the killer combination. That's the kill zone combination. You nail him with the right, and you come back with the left. Right? And you just and that's it. That should smash the brain into the skull, and you're supposed to blank out, right? So Jorge Linares, I'm hearing some people say Jorge Linares came up from 126. He wasn't as fearsome a puncher as he was at one. Listen, man, don't say that crap. He a fearsome puncher. He put on Luke Campbell. He put on Vasily Lomachenko. He's a fearsome puncher. He got popped. Okay, he got popped. And Haney, to me, in my opinion, got hit worse than Luke Campbell and Lomachenko because he got hit with a 2-3. Camp got hit with a with a 2, right? A straight right, boom, right? He ran into it. Same thing with Vasily Lomachenko. Haney got caught with a straight right, all right, which he kind of rolled, and came back with a left hook, which if that thing had hit him crisp and clean, it would have knocked him down, for sure, because it buckled him. Oh, Linares got plenty of pop. And just look at Linares, how his body's built. Look at his frame. Look at the levers. Oh, that boy could punch, okay? So when I hear people say, well, Linares, he can't, I was like, what you talking about? Everybody knows Jorge Linares is a puncher. He's a boxer puncher. All he does, anytime he wins a fight, he's knocked the guy out. All right? They call him the Japanese samurai right now. He's a legend. All right, so Haney did extremely well. So well, it was such a dominant performance. You know, Jorge Linares said he was stiff in the beginning, though, of the fight, and he started getting he's working his way back into the fight as the fight went along. Even though, to me, Haney was in control of that fight from and the other thing about Devin Haney I like, he did not try to box off the back foot. He did not try to back up from Jorge Linares. He constantly still kept coming at him, fighting, getting into the pocket, right? So I throw my jab or I throw my right hand and I roll in. Or I'll throw my lead right to the body, right? You guys can't see it, but lead right to the body right down here, and then I'll roll under and I'll roll away, right? So it's beautiful stuff, you know. Or I fall in, I roll in and I fall in and I clinch, I lock up, and then on the lockup, I tie up. Instead of just completely staying locked up, I'm pushing them to the ropes. I might do this, I might tie up, and then I might work the body or work the head, right? Beautiful stuff, right? So, like I said, I was absolutely satisfied with Devin Haney's performance. He has to work on protecting that against the left hook, right? He's got to work on protecting against the left hook, right? But other than that, really good, man. And he needs to get the high guard. He needs to incorporate his high guard into his performance, because sometimes he just has it here, but sometimes it's better if you had it here, because now you could actually peep in like this, you know? You can peep in like that. So, and if you need to, you can block it here, you can block it here, or you can just click back here, right? So those are some of the things that I think he could work a bit on, and to make sure that doesn't happen again. That where a guy he's in the wrong angle, you find yourself in the wrong place, the wrong angle, and that was a lapse in concentration on Devin Haney's part. I think it was a small lap. He got him frozen up. Jorge Linares had him frozen up on the pivot. Didn't realize Jorge Linares went around him, and he got caught. But generally speaking, you got to stay sharp in boxing. If you in within range, especially if you're in close to your opponent or you're at mid range, you need to be ultra sharp. That's the time when you have to be aware of what's happening. And for those people who are saying also that, you know, Haney can't handle Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez was getting blasted up by Vasily Lomachenko, man. He was getting blasted up in rounds 8 and 9 and 10. Lomachenko was having some fun with him, hitting him, cracking him in the head. And again, when Lomachenko was cracking him in the head, right? When he was cracking him in the head, what do we realize? Same thing Teofimo Lopez. Hands too low, trying to just use the shell alone, and guys come over the top. And he should have learned that from facing the Japanese kid. I forgot what his name is. Nakatani. Nakatani's coming over the top. Why? Because you're not keeping a high guard. He can't come over the top if you have a high guard up. You have to sweep it. And that's the thing with Floyd. Floyd would make that adjustment. He'd keep his high guard up so he could react faster, right? And if the dude decided to target his body, right, he could dance in and out of the pocket. So I'm stepping in, but I'm stepping out. I'm leaning in, but I'm leaning out. I'm shooting my shot, but I'm coming back out, right? Or I shoot my shot and I come here, right? I pivot. So I'm just saying, there's a lot to boxing. And these are young fighters. And Teofimo Lopez is a young guy. Devin Haney's a young guy, okay? Ryan Garcia's a young guy. People talking about Ryan Garcia. I think it was Coach Anthony. That was the place where we were at. And I was looking at my man, who been in boxing and stuff, trainer coach around Philadelphia. And yeah, so they were saying that, somebody was saying Ryan Garcia, I think it was the other coach. He was saying Ryan Garcia ain't able and stuff. Ryan Garcia just took out Luke Campbell, man. You can't, Luke Campbell ain't no joke. Gold medalist, very skilled boxer, understands boxing very well. And Ryan Garcia walked through his ass. Don't even tell me. Nobody's ever done that to Luke Campbell. Jorge Linares didn't do it. And if you look at these guys, think about this. So Teofimo Lopez faced the best out of them. He faced Vasily Lomachenko. Devin Haney faced the second best lightweight that you could face, right? Which would be Jorge Linares. That's not of the four horsemen, right? Jorge Linares, because Jorge Linares beat Luke Campbell, right? Ryan Garcia, he faced Luke Campbell. Now, Ryan Garcia stopped Luke Campbell. Teofimo Lopez went the distance with Vasily Lomachenko. He didn't stop him, but he hurt his ass. He was going to stop him in the 12th. Devin Haney outclassed, outblasted Jorge Linares. Linares got a moment at the end of round 10, but really couldn't do much with it after that because Devin Haney was doing all the right things as well as hurting Jorge Linares. And there's another thing I really love that Devin Haney did to Jorge Linares. So he slipped to the outside and spear jabbed him, right? Slip and spear jab. Beautiful stuff. That's a beautiful move. And it's almost like a power jab in a way when you slip to the side and you spear jab a guy. And he caught Linares, and that's what stopped Jorge Linares' advancement on him. Okay? Because after that, the tables turned and Devin Haney was working him. And that was in the 11th round. And then in the 12th round, Devin Haney again established himself. He first started off on the back foot to be careful. And then he went on to start landing some punches on the inside. Jorge Linares, he hit him like 2 or 3 rabbit punches on the back of the head. The referee didn't say nothing. So Devin Haney just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to play this safe because I want to come out of this without a scratch, which he did not come. He came out without a scratch. Jorge Linares was marked up everywhere, right? He took the beating. And it just goes to a testament of the skill set of Devin Haney. I'm very impressed with Devin Haney. He's a longer version. He's not like Floyd. Floyd was more compact, much more sharper, much more springy. People compare him to Floyd. I don't really see him. Devin Haney's not Floyd. Now, they came from the same teacher, which is Floyd Mayweather Sr., so you're going to see similar approaches to things. But Devin Haney reminds me a little bit more of Sugar Ray Leonard, actually. He's more Leonard-like in how he moves his body. You know, his movements are more excessive. You know, this is Leonard right here. Right? That's Leonard right there. So I feel more like Haney's more like a Leonard than he is like a Floyd. And his father loves Leonard. But his approach to things is more like a Floyd-like approach. And the techniques and so on are much more Floyd-like, right? But his temperament and even his approach to boxing, to me, is more like Sugar Ray Leonard. But having said that, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard, there's certain things Sugar Ray Leonard couldn't do, technically speaking, that Devin Haney can do. So I think of, when you think of, for example, Kobe Bryant reminds us of Michael Jordan, right? But if you think of the current guy right now, what's his name? Anyway, the guy who's going to be in Space Jam, right? Him, you think of Magic Johnson. He's more like a Magic Johnson. He'll pass the ball, you know. However, he's got Jordan-like qualities, like how he dunks the ball with vengeance. You know, how if he goes to the rim, he goes to the rim hard. You know, his leaping ability, that kind of thing. He's style-wise, he's nothing like Jordan, but in terms of certain techniques and skills utilized, he's kind of like Jordan, right? So he leap off the 1 foot and all that. So that's what I mean, you know. Yeah, I want to talk about one more thing, Manny Pacquiao, right? I see some people praising Manny Pacquiao, but they're trying to put down Floyd at the same time. Don't do that. Floyd's a fucking legend, man. Sorry about the F-bomb. Floyd's a legend. Like, I can't think of anybody right now that's as good as Floyd is in boxing. I recently watched What was I watching? Floyd versus he beat Pacquiao. That's all I gotta say about it. And not to disrespect Pacquiao, because what I'm about to say is what makes Pacquiao great. I'm not disrespecting Pacquiao. I'm just saying that y'all need to understand the league that Floyd Mayweather is in. He may not have done, at the end of his career, he may not have taken on the big baddies, all the big baddies, like the new generation, like Pacquiao's doing right now. But be that as it may, the dude's career is just legendary. All right, it is what it is. The man may be hated, but the man has to be respected. So respect Floyd Mayweather. Don't throw jabs at him. Oh, he's gonna be. And then the guy who said it, the dude don't even know he's not even facing Jake Paul. He's facing Logan Paul, but he was like, not a Jake Paul. Now let me get to Pacquiao. Let me tell you why Pacquiao is great. Everybody want to call the Eric Morales days and stuff. What Pacquiao about to do is greater than what he did with Eric Morales, or what he did with Barrera, or what he did with Marquez. Or think about this. Especially as Pacquiao is his own boss. This brother wants all the smoke. This brother wants all the smoke. I mean, look, ladies and gentlemen, think about this. Think about this. You're 43 years old. He ain't 42. He none of no spring chicken. He's 43, ladies and gentlemen. 43. And he want the biggest, baddest welterweight out there. Think about Manny Pacquiao. When you say welterweights, Pacquiao has faced all of the biggest, baddest welterweights. Not one big bad welterweight Pacquiao is willing, while he's around, to not face. You understand what I'm saying? That's what, to me, makes Pacquiao legendary. This motherfucker, I can't even believe it. Like, I'm still saying, he blowing my mind. I'm still saying, and you know what? The thing about it is, when he takes on Errol Spence, everybody knows not to count him out. Everybody. Okay? Everybody knows not to count Manny Pacquiao. And he ain't going in there to lay down. Everybody knows Pacquiao's style. He's a lot smarter now, but everybody knows Pacquiao's style. So what I'm saying is, especially of late, Pacquiao is taking on monumentally bigger challenges than even when he was in his prime. That's why I respect this dude. But he understands, let me tell you what Pacquiao understands. He understands how much experience he has over them younger fighters. He understands that. And he said, if I could just stay in shape, I could do what I do. I'm going to beat these young cats. I'm going to teach them something, and I'm going to beat these young cats. Pacquiao is the epitome of a wise guru getting in the ring to teach greener guys. And Errol Spence is going to be tough. If he gets to win over Errol Spence, that would be awesome. You know, as Richard Schaefer was saying, this is a true mega fight because Errol Spence finds a way to win. Okay? Errol Spence finds a way to win. And he is the thing, like I said, I try to explain to people. What makes Errol Spence different to all them other boxers is he knows how to use his footwork. What I saw against Mikey Garcia truly impressed me because this big, tall, lever-like fighter can compress himself into being a smaller fighter, and he can fight on the inside. And Pacquiao is not the greatest inside fighter. He's a mid-range fighter. So if Spence could win this fight by simply taking away range from Pacquiao, if he can. You fight him on the outside and you fight him deep in the pocket. But if he slips up for 1 minute, just like with Jorge Linares and with Devin Haney, if he slips up for 1 minute and gives Pacquiao one moment at mid-range, Pacquiao going to take full advantage of it. As Floyd knows. Floyd himself knows that. And Pacquiao is an expert at getting past a jab. Ask Floyd Mayweather. He did it to Floyd. So there's that. Now, Errol Spence is, like I said before, he's a phenomenal boxer. He's proven to me that, he proved me wrong with Mikey Garcia, and his footwork is impressive. People say he has flat feet and stuff. No, he fights flat-footed when he wants to walk guys down. But he's very light on his feet. He's very quick on his feet, as you can see how he slips out of the pocket. He goes in and out of the pocket really quickly. He's very quick. He's not as fast as, say, a Pacquiao, but he's very quick. Okay, and he's very meticulous about and pinpoint accurate about how he places his shots. So all of that's going to be a factor against Pacquiao. Will Pacquiao be able to get Errol Spence on the back foot? I believe he will get him once or twice on the back foot. I believe Pacquiao will hurt Errol Spence once or twice in the fight. That's just Pacquiao. Pacquiao gonna get to you. There's no fighter that Pacquiao has never gotten to and hurt. Every single fighter that's faced Pacquiao has had to go through the chasm of getting hurt. I've seen Timothy Bradley beat Manny Pacquiao. First 5 rounds in their second fight, he was dominating Pacquiao. Still Pacquiao hurt him. He's a tricky customer, man. And he likes to encourage you to mount your offense so you can find holes in your offense. Jessica Jimeno, what's up, Jessica? It's a woman who knows her boxing, man. Got a lot of respect for you. Pacquiao is a tricky dude. And especially now where he's gotten older, he still has the dexterity. He still has the athleticism. He's going to be very dangerous for any fighter, okay? Because his style is just one that is a tricky style. And you blink twice, and he's got you on your ass. You got to be alert. You got to stay alert all the time, and you're going to take some punishment if you want to bring the heat to Pacquiao. That's the kind of fighter he is. So when I say that Manny Pacquiao is legendary, you can put question marks on some of his earlier career stuff. But right now, I'm going to tell you right now, he fighting the tougher fights. Okay? Cotto was weight trained. Keith Thurman wasn't weight trained. Adrian Broner wasn't weight trained. And Errol Spence will not be weight trained. I'm telling you right now. Pacquiao going for the gusto. And Errol Spence, people talking about, the brain injury to the accident. That ain't happening. And Pacquiao isn't prepared for that Errol Spence. He is preparing for the best Errol Spence ever. And they're going to have a game plan, and they're going to execute that game plan. It's up to Errol Spence to execute his game plan. But we got a hell of a fight on our hands. And again, I'm going to reserve my comments as to who going to win that fight for later. I'm not making any predictions right now. That is just not it's just not a wise thing to do. Because I'm telling you, I know Errol's up to the task. I know Errol can face Pacquiao. I always said this, the same thing with Crawford. Crawford has what it takes to face a Pacquiao as well. Do I think that Crawford's a tougher fight for Pacquiao or Errol? I don't know. I can't say. Crawford mixes it up a little too much sometimes. He looks for his left hook to bail him out. They both being southpaws, it would be a tough fight for Crawford. I'm telling you, man, that would be a tough fight for Crawford. It's not an easy fight as it seems. You prep yourself and you can make it look easy, but it's not as easy a fight as people think it is. And I got to give Manny Pacquiao props. And obviously that's a calculated choice. He's got a really good president of his company who manages his company, and they make wise decisions. And Pacquiao has a hell of some Filipino fighters under him, man. I gotta say, by the way, shout out to Nonito Donaire and his wife. His wife is she is extremely scientific and calculated. They making calculated moves with Donaire too. Jessica Jimeno says, I feel like Spence and Pac-Man happening makes Crawford look left out, for lack of a better word. Yeah, I mean, Crawford, it was always going to be Spence versus Pacquiao, I feel, because Pacquiao with the PBC pretty much, and era that called out Pacquiao, and I felt like the negotiations would have gone that way. Especially with Pacquiao wanting security and guarantees, and the fight being out there in the Middle East, in Qatar, I think it would have been. Um, if you can't secure financial security for a fighter, he's probably not going to go for it. So I think that was what, Al had treated Pacquiao well. Al does good business with Pacquiao. So I think Pacquiao would go back to Al and do some business. You know what I mean? They got a relationship, and Pacquiao's got he's got fighters that fight under Al's banner, but also those fighters could go and fight anywhere, the zone, wherever, whatever needs to happen, they can make it happen. And right now, I'm telling y'all, man, John Riel Casimiro is my dude. I like him a lot. I love that little fighter. And Pacquiao, that's a great. Sean was saying that this is one of those untapped gems. A legendary fighter. And I really do believe John Riel Casimiro gonna make some noise. That's another Filipino that's just dope. I mean, he's dope. I like him, his attitude, everything. We're not seeing him right now, but I hope to see more of him. And of course, Donaire's wife, man, she's a fighter, of course. And in addition to that, she's very calculated. Like, she knows calculated moves. She's a scientist. I think she's a really the driving force behind Donaire, and she gives him great advice and everything. So, Donaire, we're gonna see how far Donaire's career goes, because obviously he's a Hall of Famer. The question's gonna be, will he get that rematch with Inui? Because he a bad boy. I tell you, Donaire's a bad boy. He a bad boy. Y'all getting twisted. Casimiro too. I'd love to see Donaire versus Casimiro, actually. Um, I never understood why Crawford re-signed with Bob Arum when everyone notable at 147 was with the PBC. Yeah, I understand that too. I thought that was a wrong move on his part. I thought it was a wrong calculated move. But I've noticed that people who sign with DAZN or sign, well, it depends if they, it's very hard for them to get the PBC fights for some reason, unless it's like a Devin Haney or whatever, But it's business, I guess. I don't understand why he did that with Bob Arum. Maybe Bob Arum had something over his head, so he had to resign with him, or maybe he looked for other options out there and they were just not available to him. I don't know what it was, but I feel sorry for Crawford, but I'm not really sorry because his contract's going to over in October, which means he's going to be a free agent. What he should do is become a free agent, not sign with nobody, become his own goddamn boss. He has a manager. Bomac probably giving him wrong advice, and Andre Ward saying that if you stay with Top Rank, you get top dollar, your value would rise, and they can't just exploit you and dictate terms. So he's probably stayed with Top Rank so that he could dictate terms, but he's not getting the fights. You know what I mean? And what he need to do is either be a free agent and sign with the PBC. You won't be able to dictate terms, but you can showcase your skills, showcase your abilities, and build up your rank in the PBC. And he don't really want to do that at this point in time. So I understand it's all about dollars and cents at the end of the day, and security. That's the same thing with Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley was of a certain pedigree, but if he was to say go across to Showtime at the time to have a fight with Floyd Mayweather, it didn't really benefit him. Like, am I going to get the same kind of monies that I get across in Top Rank? Am I going to get the same, prestige? I was on HBO. Now I had to go to Showtime. I got to cow down to Floyd's demands and his whatever he decides. Because remember, when Floyd is the key player. If you're going to go up against Floyd, you got to do what he tell you to do. And you're not the top dog. You just like the B-side one time. And so you don't get to dictate nothing. So it's all these things that people don't see in the background of boxing. And I think Terrence Crawford doesn't want to be dictated to at this point in time, unfortunately for him. He wants to do all the dictating, and that's not going to happen with Errol Spence. If he's going to have the Errol Spence fights, Errol Spence going to do the dictating. Errol Spence going Top Rank is a marquee name, but it's kind of fading pretty fast. But Errol Spence going to have to do the dictating, and Terrence Crawford doesn't want that to happen. He wants to be treated fairly, and he wants to do the dictating because he's the top dog at Top Rank. You know what I mean? He's one of the top dogs, at least. So that's what's happening. And the same thing with what you saw happen with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury wanted to dictate. That's why he went across the top rank. So it's a little dictating game that's going on with these guys, and they feel like the to and froing. They don't think that their value is actually going to decline by them toing and froing with one another. They're not. They don't feel like they have the attitude that they don't feel like if I'm going to make the fight, it's got to be on my terms. It's got to be something that is beneficial to me, even though it's a huge fight. So people's egos get in the way, and that's where you get what you get. But I'll say this: Deontay Wilder. One of the things I give Deontay Wilder props for is that he said, "Fuck it, I just want to make this fight with Tyson Fury. You know, I want to face the best." And that's what's the difference with Deontay Wilder. He lost, but you got to give him props for that. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to win this fight against Tyson Fury either. But, hey, I give him props if he takes the fight and he performs better. You know, I think Tyson Fury is the dude in the division. AJ, though, y'all got to watch for AJ. AJ, if y'all underestimate AJ gonna whoop some ass. And he might just beat Tyson Fury because I heard Floyd Mayweather's in his camp. So I know Floyd Mayweather's his buddy, but Jessica Germano says, where do you put Donaire's victory at 38 in the context of boxing history? Right. So there are a handful of fighters that have won world championships at the age of 37 and 38. I'm going to just mention some of them. Roberto Duran won the middleweight championship of the world at the age of 37. Manny Pacquiao was world champion at the age of 38 and then at the age of 40. And now is going back to try and get a championship at the age of 42. Bernard Hopkins started boxing late. He became world champion in his 30s. Okay. Sergio Martinez was a world champion in his late 30s. Up to his late 30s, he was a world champion. Okay. Archie Moore fought and was world champion all the way up till he was almost 50, as with Bernard Hopkins. Jersey Joe Walcott was a world champion in his late 30s. Floyd Mayweather was a world champion all the way up to his late 30s. When he's 38, he was still world champion, right? That's a handful of people, ladies and gentlemen. You know, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen, you know, very often. Okay? Once in a blue moon, this sort of stuff happens. Okay? So, you know, you think of Sugar Ray Leonard, great fighter, but he never, I mean, he was a world champion in his early 30s, but not in his late 30s. Okay? You look at boxing is a young man sport. Okay? You know, George Foreman became a world champion at 44. Okay? But you got to understand the longevity of what these guys are doing. Donaire, 38 years old, dominates a young fighter. Okay? Because he's smart. He fought him smart. He has the size, the strength, the power. You know, Donaire went up against Nael Inoue, broke his eye orbital, gave him a good fight. I thought it was a closer fight than the judges had on the judges' scorecards. I had Inoue up by 2 rounds or 1 round or something like that. And, you know, just legendary fighters find a way to kick ass. Oh, Juan Manuel Marquez is another guy who in his late 30s, you know, was still world champion, dominating younger guys, right? So the reason why a lot of these fighters could do that was because they led mostly clean lifestyles, took care of their bodies very well. And something that, I don't know if you watched the interview, but if you watch the interview with Nolita Donaire's wife, she talks about how eating can actually age you. Look at me. You see how aged my face looks and bloated? It's because I eat wrong. When you eat lighter, but more nutrition, you eat for fuel, you actually have younger skin. You have a better... Chris Oreo, what's up, man? You actually age less. So if I like yesterday, because I didn't have any food in the house and there was a complete shutdown, I didn't eat anything except for 4 mangoes for the entire day, right? And that actually did me well. Woke up this morning, I ate somewhere around 10, 11. But you see how very dry I am. Inside my mouth's very dry. And dryness is another thing that doesn't age you, but it can cause you to get sick with illnesses and disease if you don't hydrate properly. So hydration is everything. What you mostly need, your body mostly has all the materials it needs to move and do what it needs to do. It's just it needs proper hydration to be able to share those nutrients with the rest of it. As you can see, I'm balding, right? I have a fro because I can't cut my hair yet because the saloons are not open. But I probably, if I can buy my own equipment, I'll do that and cut my own hair. I guess I'll have to do that. But in the meantime, I let it grow out. But the key to the whole thing is proper hydration, proper nutrients to your body, right? Like I woke up this morning and because I keep on sitting on my left knee here, you can't see it now, but inside of the joint is hurting me a little bit and it's got some play on it, right? It's because it seems as though I stretched something, maybe a ligament or something. I don't know what happened, but there's some play on my knee and I was stepping on it and it was hurting me and stuff, But I know it's not old age. It's not old age. It's the fact that I'm sedentary a lot. I put on size. As you can see, I'm much bigger and fatter. I don't know if you can see that. I put on some size. I feel it in my body, but I also feel the more power because most of my size is because of protein. I eat a lot of protein. I don't really actually eat a lot of sugars. Yesterday I had to eat sugars and it makes me all sticky. I feel sticky on the inside. See, I got mango here. This is called a boxing spice mango. It's a really nice mango. And I eat natural sugars because natural sugars have vitamins and minerals and everything inside of them. So it's better to eat a fruit, organic fruit. Let me say that one time. Organic fruit than it is to say, for example, eat some sort of sweet bar or whatever. Even though chocolate's very good for you. On average, I eat 2 meals a day. How many squats should you do a day? Poopy Sis Drunk in the building. What's up, bro? All right, so I don't do a lot of squats anymore. But by doing squats, you do tighten up your joints. They make them sturdier and stronger, the muscles, the ligaments around them. And it's great. It's just great overall for over body workout. But if you do 5 to 10 squats a day, that's okay. Or anytime you feel like doing it, you just stretch out your back and stretch out your squats. And the back stretch is a really easy thing, and the squats are a very easy thing. I haven't been doing abs because I had some stomach problems, so I haven't been doing any ab work for the last couple of months. I haven't been doing any ab work. And you can see I put on a lot of size. I'm probably about 175 to 180 pounds now. Remember, I'm really at my ideal weight of about 160. So I put on 20 something pounds. I don't feel sluggish per se. My sleep wake cycles are off as well. I've been up, like I get up sometimes 11 o'clock in the night after sleeping, or sometimes I don't even sleep. So everything's kind of off right now. I'm still collective. I'm still pretty sharp. As you can see, my eyes are pretty clear. They're not yellow or red, so that's good. I had an infection on my skin, but it's gone away. You can't see it. It was almost like a heat rash, but it wasn't a heat rash. And it went away. And that's not good. That shows the impurities in my body. Probably a fungus or something. So, I have a cavity in my mouth I have to tend to as well. So I'm just telling you guys this to tell you, you have to keep track of your body. You have to be aware of what's going on with your body. Don't ever take it for granted. Don't ever say, and just dismiss something. You need to always pay attention to what your body's giving you. It's not necessarily that you're aging. It could be also that your body's just being treated poorly, and so you're breaking it down. It's not necessarily aging. Like I'm 46, right? I'm 46 years old, and I don't feel 46, first of all, right? I can, but I have to be very careful now. But not too long ago, about a year ago, I didn't have to be as careful. If I get up right now, I don't stretch or anything, and I just go for a run.
right? I could tweak something right now because my knees, my body's not in proper alignment. First of all, my spine and everything's kind of twisted. I can feel the little pressure points in different parts of my lower back. And the other thing is, once upon a time, if I sit down in one spot for very long, my feet wouldn't numb out, but now they're numbing out, which means that one, my posture is pretty bad and I'm not getting enough rest, and two, that the body itself is out of alignment. And that's because of the way how I sit sometimes or the way how I lie down sometimes. Okay. Because I sleep on the ground. I sleep on, I know it sounds crazy. I have, this house has one, two, three, it has three beds. I have three beds in the house, right? And I sleep on the ground. I know it sounds crazy. But the ground supplies much better support to my back than does the beds. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I was homeless once upon a time. I actually had no place to stay, and I slept on the ground. So anyway, but it works. It works in two ways. You don't ever have to make up your beds. You just spread a sheet on the ground and sleep on it. And two, the place stays pretty clean. So so you don't have to do a whole ton of squats, but when you really start to squat and you really start to do, when you really start to squat every day, it's really a great thing. Great question, Poopy Sister, by the way. Poopy Sister says, why do people get mad at Floyd about who he's fighting? Because he's like, he represents kind of like the sport. He's kind of like a figurehead of boxing. He's like a legend of boxing. And so a lot of people expect so much more from their legends, as well as I don't know. I think it's that I don't know. It's just that people always see Floyd as a villain or something. When they see Floyd, they think it's somebody to mock or someone to villainize, I guess. He is a black person, which unfortunately people say, well, that's victimhood. No, no, no. He's black. He's a bit like, from the hood kind of thing, and people think that's negative in some respects, and I guess to me he's an okay guy. I like him. And I respect his boxing acumen, his IQ, his understanding of the sport of boxing. That's what I really respect, you know. Chris Oriole says they wish they could be him. Yes, there's a bit of jealousy and envy there. I wish I could be Floyd too, but I'm not hating on him. You know what I mean? He inspires me. He inspires me that a guy that came from that background, a guy who everybody counted out, a guy who started with, he didn't have a whole bunch of money. His family had pedigree, but they all had questionable backgrounds. And they came up kind of rough, it was a rough life. And this guy did what he did. It was extremely inspiring to me. The guys who leave school, and you hear about, the genius guys that leave school, like Bill Gates and stuff, and they were in, college or whatever, and they did well. But this guy, he's a genius himself, and he left school to do boxing. And, all the great, when you think about it, all the great people, whether it's Pacquiao or whether it's, you know, guys in software or whatever, you see all of them, they leave school. Even actually Logan Paul, genius guy from Ohio, come from again, not a wealthy family or anything, uh and this guy, he's brilliant. He's got a 4.0 in college. He leaves college to do YouTubing, and I just thought brilliant. I know little kids who are millionaires already, and they off of YouTube and off of social media, and I'm just saying that's inspiring. You know what I mean? It's inspiring. I feel inspired because I'm nowhere near that level right now, but it gets me off my ass, and I say, dude, you could do this. You like to talk, and you like to inspire other people. Why don't you use YouTube? Why don't you use these things and make some money? And I started doing it, and shout out to Tommy Temper from England. Shout out to I can't remember the guy's name from New Zealand. Shout out to there are people who put money into me and showed me that this could be a lucrative business. And we still try to pull off business ventures. Me and Tommy and all these other guys, we try to pull off the business ventures. We still don't know how exactly to do it. The how is the thing that always gets everybody, right? There's a catch-22 somewhere in there. But the thing about it is, it inspired us to do what we're doing. This is why I'm what you need. I saw the opportunity and I went for it. And it's still early in the game. The internet and social media is not still properly policed. It's still kind of the wild, wild west where we can be doing this for free. Are you kidding me? And we get to interface with one another and talk. This is awesome. So, I see, as you said, Poopy Sister, some people are inspired by Floyd and they sort of ignore some of his things that they don't vibe with. Like, I don't really vibe with his what is it, girl collection thing. I don't vibe with it. They nice women and everything, but it's just that's just my speed per se. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to live that life. I understand that I get what he's doing. It makes sense. But that's just not my life, right? I'm not that. I'm a Christian, and that's just not what I should be doing with myself, right? Whether I do it or not, I shouldn't be doing it. So that's not my thing. You know what I mean? And so that's not my speed. But when it comes to boxing and some of the other investments he's in, like real estate and stuff, it's just so brilliant. And I'm like, man, I like this dude. And then he and I seem to have some parallel things because he's born in February. I'm born in February. He's born the 24th. I'm born the 14th. I'm like 2 years his senior. And this is another thing that really impresses me. I'm older than this dude. This dude has accomplished all that shit, and he's younger than me. That's just fucking inspirational, y'all. I mean, look, man, you have to be inspired by people. A lot of people call me buddy because I seem to see the sunny side of things. I try to stay positive all the time. I am just like Floyd, hated. People don't like me because I keep on elucidating things which are true and factual that fly in the face of other people. So when I say, people are nostalgic about the old time greats, when I started talking that kind of stuff on here and I started showing people that all the flaws that you're talking about with the current people, whether it's Floyd or whether it's my boy Canelo right now, or if it's Teofimo Lopez or any young star that these old cats, these OGs just be hating on. They straight fucking hating on. That's what some of these OGs, they just be straight hating on these young cats, not giving them a chance. I see everybody going up against Errol Spence and hating on Errol Spence and pitting Terrence Crawford against Errol and all this bullshit. And I'm like, dude, what's up with y'all? What, y'all dissatisfied that your life was shit and you didn't get to make the money? It's jealousy. I always feel the OGs, man. The OGs, they're supposed to be wiser than that. They supposed to be like, encouraging the young cats, and speaking positive things. And I got to give credit where credit is due. George Foreman's that kind of OG. George Foreman don't tear down people. I see Roy Jones Jr. He tries his hardest. He sometimes come at Floyd hard. He and Mike Tyson, they come at Floyd hard. But I know they never made that kind of money. At the end of the day, it's a money-making business. And sometimes that you see the jealousy come out from them. And I'm like, man, don't do that. Don't do them in like that. Because you doing yourself in. And I say this to Roy all the time. I say this about Roy all the time. Roy's the guy, one of the guys that inspired Floyd to be where he's at. You know what I mean? So they smoke his money, man. Because he's smart with his money. As much as Floyd spent a lot of money, he make a lot of money. Yeah. And he always making money, right? But the thing about it is, though, what I try to explain to people is, I can't have hate in my heart for somebody who making money. Like my brother said, Anthony, Coach Anthony, he said, and he so rightfully said, how you could hate, not Coach Anthony, actually, the guy from Philadelphia, how you could hate on somebody making money? How you could hate on Logan Paul and Jake Paul for making money? How you could hate on these brothers? You know what I mean? And he's right. And that's why I don't speak negatively about Jake Paul or Logan Paul. I don't think they belong. Oh yeah, yeah. Roy Jones Jr. made a lot of money, but he ain't made the Mayweather money. He ain't made Mayweather money. You know what I'm saying? He good. He good. Roy Jones Jr. is good. You know, he very good. But I'm just saying he ain't make Mayweather money. You know what I mean? He ain't made that kind of money. And Floyd getting all the praise, the accolades, the money, everything. So you know, a lot of people don't like that, especially strangely inside the boxing fraternity. Some of the boxing people in the boxing fraternity, they just don't like Floyd like that. You know, because Floyd said that he a better boxer than Muhammad Ali, which is true, 100% true. He a better boxer than Muhammad Ali. If he says he's better than Muhammad Ali, he is better than Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? But he smoked most of it. Well, you know, I don't know. Roy don't smoke. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. He spent a lot of his money. Yes. And Mike Tyson too. He lost a lot of money. But again, that's because these guys didn't know how to manage their money, didn't know how to be smart with the money. You know what I mean? But my thing is this, right? Take, for instance, Mayweather versus Logan Paul. You know why these cats mad at Mayweather versus Logan Paul? Because they know they're going to make a ton of money. They know I don't have to watch. I'm not watching it, right? I don't even have to watch Mayweather versus Logan Paul. That fucking shit is mainstream. So it does not matter. It's going to make money with me or without me, with the boxing fans or without the boxing fans. That's going to make money. That's just the way it is. And these guys get flaming. They get flaming mad that this motherfucker could fight a bloke off the street and make that kind of money. Oh man, fans prefer that crooked manager that ruined Tyson's era. Yep, exactly. So, fight fans like myself, I wouldn't watch Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I would watch the undercard because I'm about boxing. I'm a boxing fan, right? I didn't come into boxing to see mainstream shit, you know, that I didn't think is competitive. So for me, I'm not watching it, right? And why does that matter? It's not gonna matter, right? So and it's not bad for boxing. It's just that I like competitive fights. Okay, so I wouldn't pay for that. Even though the undercard was going to be good, it was going to be Battle Jack versus Jean Pascal, which would have been really good. And then we got another one, Jarrett Hurd versus Louis the Cuba Arias. Now, Louis the Cuba Arias, say what you want, that boy is a dog, and he will fight to the very end. I think Jarrett Hurd going to probably stop him. He is moving up in weight, though. It's going to be at 160. So this is Jarrett Hurd's debut at 160. So it'll be interesting. But I think I'm backing my boy Jarrett Hurd to win. But I would love to see it because there's a number of things that I know Louis DeCuba, he can fight his ass off. And the other thing is that, and he is a body puncher. And I think the other thing is that Jarrett Hurd, you know, is a very good fighter. He's a very good fighter. So people say all kinds of things about that boy, but he's a very good fighter, you know. Chris Ariel says, I celebrate seeing boxers being what they say, overpaid. I agree. You know, you work your whole life. You ain't making no money early on in your career. And then finally you get into the big bucks. And there's not a lot of boxers still to this day that make that kind of money, you know. So, I mean, I'm not talking about Floyd Mayweather money. I'm talking about even cutting a $500,000 check. There's very, 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 very few boxers that get that kind of money, you know. Chris Ariel says Jarrett Hurd is big. Yes, sir. He's a big mother. He's a big mother. He's a big dude. Strong, too. Strong guy. I would love to see that fight. I mean, if I was to pay for that card, I would pay for it, but I'm not going to. I would pay for it to see the Hurd versus Louis the Arias card, but I wouldn't pay for that. I definitely not gonna pay for the Pacquiao versus Errol Spence though. You gonna get my ass, and I'm paying for that shit. DG make $1 million a fight. Yeah. Yeah, Garcia. Oh wait, who's DG? DG's what's it? Let's see. It's Mikey Garcia, and what is his name? Danny Garcia. That's it. Danny Garcia. Yeah, Danny Garcia is an elite elite fighter. So he makes good money in fight. Good money in fight. Keith Thurman, him, Sean Porter, they're making money now. They're millionaires. They're making their money. And they saving their money, which is smart. And they invested in housing and stuff, so they have rent and stuff. They got back end money that's coming in every month. You know, like my boy Paul Williams, he invested in a whole bunch of um, um, real estate as well, and he's renting out, so he make that back end money. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Floyd's the same thing. He has real estate in New York. Actually, he has real estate in New York, so he make back end money all the time. He gets a check. He gets checks from his pay per view over a couple of hundred millions. I'm sorry, not 100 million. Sorry, a couple mil. He gets every single month, and that's just checks. We're not talking about from his businesses. So he makes money, but he's a company. Floyd Mayweather Promotions and stuff is a company. So he gets his money through his company, and then he gets his personal checks and all that. Yeah, that's why I said people like ruin fighters. That's right, and that's stupid. Like, that's so archaic. And back in the day, the fighters today are more calculated. Like I said before, they're more business savvy. So these guys are now making career decisions. They literally think of it as a career. Back in the day, the boxers were like punch drunk and like, and the manager used to talk for them, right? Until Muhammad motherfucking Ali. Muhammad Ali changed the game. You know what I mean? Muhammad Ali changed the damn game, and was so eloquent and could speak. Couldn't read, but he could speak. You know what I'm saying? And, he had management that fucked him over at first, and then he got proper management. You know what I mean? And Ali was a promoter. Ali could have promoted the shit out of anything. When you think about it, Bob Arum didn't have much to do to promote Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali did it. He did it all. He changed the game forever. So now, boxers got smarter and smarter, more savvy. Sugar Ray Leonard, he tried to do his own promotional company too, but they pushed him out the game, because you got to have a certain savvy to stay in this game. And Floyd learned it all. He learned from Bob Arum. He learned the game. So when you hear Max Kellerman say how Floyd learned how to master the game, that's what he was talking about. But he would say, Floyd doesn't want to be the greatest boxer ever. Nah, you could add that, which is bullshit. That's not what Floyd said either. The boxing scientist, this is so funny. He says Al Heyman is the best promoter of all time. He really works for his fighters. Well, he's not a promoter though. He's not a promoter. He's a manager. Think about it. Al Heyman doesn't promote. You don't see an Al Heyman banner somewhere and fighters under his banner and he's doing all the ads and everything. No. Al Heyman doesn't got nothing to do that. He's just a manager. But the way how he set it up, you don't need a promoter. You don't need a middleman. You can be a free agent and work under his system. That's why they try to sue him and all kinds of things. They try to use the Ali Act and all of that, and they can't win. Because he worked around it. He's one smart motherfucker. I'll give him that. Al is a clever motherfucker. So this is how Al works. Al works through Al Heyman Inc. He has his people go out there, Sam and all the other people. And he, as a manager, he advises his fighters as to, here are your options. This is all you can map out a course for you. This is what you could do. This is you have to choose what you want. You said this is what you want when you talked with me. So he's a very personable manager, and he really manages the fighters' careers. However, the promoters would be either the banner under which the person goes to who will promote the fight and put up the money for the fight, or it will be the company that the person's with. If the person's with a company, if they're self-managed, if they're self-promoting. So what Al Heyman encourages the fighters to do is form their own promotional companies. So even though they don't have promotional licenses, they have more autonomy over choices and decisions because now they have they have a certified company under which they operate. Which is clever. It's very clever. Okay, that gives them leverage. So now Al's like, what do you want out of this? They tell Al what it is. Al goes as a manager, or somebody representing Al goes as a manager with them, with their company, and Al will advise them what to say in the meetings. So that is how Al is able to work for his fighters. Okay. Now, Al also did a negotiation with the networks. And so the networks and the sub promotional companies inside of, say, for example, the PBC put up money for advertising. And Al also gets sponsorship from companies to put up money for advertising. And that is that is how the fighters are promoted. So it's a clever sort of manipulation of the situation. So when you say Al Heyman, that dude is really smart. But there's a reason why he doesn't show his face to the media, because he's a manager. Cameron Duncan doesn't show his face all the time to the media, and so on. And I was like, I'm a manager. I'm not a promoter. Eddie Hearn's a promoter. Bob Arum's a promoter. You know, Citizen Z. Al's a smart guy. He's a really smart guy. So he doesn't get involved. So once, like, for example, if you think of Devin Haney, for example, right? Devin Haney has a manager, but you don't hear about the manager, right? His manager is his father. And then Devin Haney has a company, a promotional company, a licensed promotional company, right? But to put up the money for big fights, he needs to work through Eddie Hearn's company. So they do what is called a partnership. He's partnered up with Eddie Hearn. And by doing a partnership, you cut costs. Think of Mayweather Promotions when they partnered up with Golden Boy. Mayweather Promotions at the time didn't have the license to do what they did. And there was an agreement between Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather through Richard Schaefer, because Floyd really mostly interfaced with Richard Schaefer, to be able to partner up and have opponents for Floyd, as well as Floyd bring money to Golden Boy. So that's how it all worked out. And Al Heyman was in there as the manager of Floyd to make sure that Floyd got the right terms and conditions. You got it? So that's Al Heyman's job. So you very rarely see a fighter say something adverse about Al Heyman. That's just not going to happen. Al Heyman is like the fighters. You know, it's another manager who's like that. Trying to remember the manager's name right now. Shelly Finkel's pretty good as well. But trying to remember his name. When I remember him, you don't hear about that manager at all, but he's in a lot of shit. But you don't generally hear about managers, right? Think of, if you're an actor and you have a manager, that manager gets you, your next gig, right? That's what managers do. So Al Heyman's like that kind of guy. So a lot of people confuse him with a promoter. He's not a promoter. He doesn't operate under that thing. That's why a lot of people say we don't have problems with Al Heyman. You hear a lot of promoters say that. It's because Al Heyman he's not a promoter. Okay. But Al Heyman has, some people have beef with Al Heyman. I think Eddie Hearn right now has beef with Al Heyman. Not quite sure why. Eddie Hearn's a pretty good promoter too, even though some people feel that his model is not in the best interest of fighters and how they are brought along. But Eddie Hearn's a pretty good promoter himself. Yeah. So that's what I got, guys. Just wanted to spread. But I gotta tell you, man, when you're talking about Manny Pacquiao, he's a fantastic fighter. And even now, later on in his career, I am so impressed with him. I'm very much impressed with him. Some people are saying he's using drugs and steroids and stuff. I don't know about that. Not at this point in time. I think it's just his work ethic and the way how he approaches boxing. He's not doing any boxing and breaking down his body in between fights, but he's staying active and in shape. So when he goes into a training camp, because Floyd was talking about that, how to when you get older, how you have to treat your body and be smarter about it. And I think that's what's going on with Pacquiao. He's rested his body, but he's active while he's resting. So he could fire, when he's got the passion to fight. So but when he goes to fight, he really has all his passion, all his zeal, everything. So he can go into the fight and really do what he wants to do and give a really great performance. Poopy Sister says, if you had $1 billion, would you give me 20 million because I'm your friend? That's funny, man. If I had $1 billion, look, I'd probably not keep most of the money. I wouldn't keep. Yeah, I probably only end up with a couple million at the end of the day, and invest some of the money, but most of it I would distribute to different people because I wouldn't be a huge company. I wouldn't be looking to really branch out and invest in bigger things and bigger projects. I just want just enough to say. But if my brand was really good and it's just I'm pulling in tremendous amounts of money every year, absolutely, I'd give you 20 million. Yeah, I'll probably do that. That's in my personal nature. I like to give, so it probably would happen. Yeah, but again, you have to be strategic with your money. Of course, I love to. Yeah, I mean, we could say that now. I mean, we don't have $1 billion. We would say, I'll get, because if you have a good heart, that's why they call me dumb. No, but I think that it wouldn't be, I mean, that's like what, 2%? That's 2% of $1 billion or something like that. I mean, that's that's pretty much no money if you got $1 billion. I mean, you as an individual, not like a company or anything. You as an individual have $1 billion. $1 billion is a lot of money. Okay, I've never seen $1 billion. It's a lot. Let's just add that's an astronomical amount of money. So and you have to work very hard and very long to get something like that. That doesn't just happen overnight unless you're just super duper lucky and you just ended up with that money. In which case, that money could, as quickly as it came, disappear. Because vultures are going to come from everywhere to make sure that money is taken away from you. Whether it's the government or whoever. It's not that easy, people. $1 billion immediately attracts attention of other businessmen, investors. Where are you going to bank that money? Banks are going to see it. Like you just pop up on the radar. Boop, who is this dude? So, it attracts a lot of attention. Okay? Now, that'll create a big wave. That's a lot of money. So, with that comes a lot of responsibilities and problems and just a lot of stuff, man. There's a reason why there are tax brackets, okay? You will meet people that you did not know. They'll just suddenly appear out of nowhere. And you're on the radar now. How did he make this $1 billion? How did he get into this? There's a lot of questions. And I know because in Spain, it's 60%, man. Do you invest in stock? No, I don't invest in stock. Not yet. I intend to. Yeah. I live okay. I live okay. I live all right. But I've never seen $1 billion. The most amount of money I have seen in my life. Close to $50,000. That's about it. Yeah. And that's TT. That's not even US. If I translate that into US, that will be. Actually, I've seen what has passed through my hands is totally different to what I've had. Okay, so what I've had and what has passed through my hands is two different things. Okay, what I've signed, I've seen money. Okay, I've signed money, but that doesn't mean I've had it. It wasn't mine. It was just to pass through my hands and go to the relevant people, right? So I've never been wealthy. I've never been rich yet. but hope to be. I hope to be. Yeah. But yeah, guys, man, that's great questions. Again, Poopy Sistrunk, well thought out guy. Hey, Poopy, I gotta ask you a question from my other channel. Did you check out Army of the Dead? And in addition, did you check out Zack Snyder's Justice League? Those are two movies I talk about. Talk about Zack Snyder quite a lot. He's kind of appeared on the radar. I don't know if you guys know anything about Zack Snyder. He's a filmmaker. You could check him out. Some of you guys will like his movies. Some of you won't. And it's okay. But man, I'm checking out Army of the Dead. That thing is so layered. If you guys got Netflix, check it out, man. Army of the Dead. It's a zombie movie. Oh, you saw it? Nice. Yeah, I'm still breaking it down, bro. I'm still breaking it down. Yeah, I'm still breaking it down. So, if you guys want to check out my other channel, which is Christ I Am Disciple, which is it's Greg Monk Picks on YouTube. You can check out that channel. I'm kind of talking about it now. Yeah, it's funny as hell, man. It's actually funny. I thought it was gonna be serious, but it's actually funny as hell. It's funnier than it's scary. It's got a lot, man. It's got aliens and all kinds of stuff going on in that thing. Yeah. It's pretty graphic, yeah. But I find those zombies are really smart. The alpha zombies are pretty clever. They look like chickens though. They move like chickens. They stick their bellies out, their backs their hands go up like chickens, and they walk kind of like a duck. And they can go on all fours and run on all fours. It's funny. The part that really still gets me to this day. It's horrific, but yet it's very funny. Is when Zeus digs out the fetus from the belly of Athena, and you can see he's crying and moaning, and then he puts up the dead fetus for all of the zombies to see, right? And those alphas go nuts, man. They go nuts. It kind of reminds me of Planet of the Apes for a minute there. A Planet of the Apes, know what? But just the way how they were going, I was like scared, but yet I was laughing. I couldn't help myself because I was kind of shocked that they were so smart. And like Zeus is looking for vengeance now, and the zombies are just like running like crazy mad, looking ravenous things as he's riding on his horse, and he's going, "Ah!" And the zombies are going, "Ah!" It's like freaking funny, man. I got caught to Scandinavian thrillers. Ooh, nice. You know what I'm supposed to also check out? I'm supposed to check out I'm supposed to check out Border Town. That's a Nordic film that I'm supposed to check out that my boy Picashays was telling me about. So I will check out that. And also, you guys should check out Frontier, man. That's with Jason Momoa. It's about the pelt trade, the trade of skins. Y'all should really check out that shit. It's sick. It's a series. It's a Netflix series. And I checked out The Witcher. That was pretty dope. The Witcher's pretty dope as well. Snabba Cashman. What is that? I'm going to check out that. I also, Invincible was pretty good. I liked Invincible. Snabba Cashman. I'm going to check that out. Yeah. Because I'm looking for something to look at because I can't go nowhere. Everything's shut down right now. And I'm kind of home. Snabba Cashman. I'm going to check that out. It's on Netflix? Where is it on? Yeah. So yeah, peoples, this is what it is. This is what it is. Your boy, what you need in the building. Also, man, shout out to Coach Anthony, Coach Eric Bradley, the Fight Doctor, World Class Boxing. That's also a dope channel. There's another one. That's really good. I like it. I forgot what the name of it is though. It's a Russian guy. He shows you all the different styles and stuff and different defensive and offensive techniques. It's really sick. Yeah, Christian Oreo, man, it's good to hook up again, man. Hey, I'm going to have a live where you can hop on and say your piece. I'll bring out StreamYard So don't worry. I'm gonna do the live tomorrow. Okay. So look for me tomorrow, man. What's my other channel? My other channel's name is, you have to type in GREIGMONK. That's one word. Picks. Okay. All that is one word. So Greig Monk Picks. GREIGMONKPICS. It's a Christian channel, or at least it began that way. And then I started talking about movies that I like. So I go on there. I still use a little bit of scripture every now and then. I break down some scripture. Hey, talking about that, let me break down some scripture for you guys, man. I didn't know what I'm going to say, but I didn't read anything today. Oh, all right. I just dropped on this, so I'm going to go with it. Isaiah 42. I'm just going to read verse 1. Behold, my servant, who I uphold, my elect, in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit in him, and he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Usually lords don't introduce their servants like that. So I thought it was really interesting when this Lord was taking pleasure in talking about this servant who he really finds joy in. You know, and that's just something that I thought was very unique right there, that I wanted to point out to people. I'm gonna catch y'all guys later. I am what you need. Peace.